Camron happily drops his J. Cole lawsuit. He said he never planned to follow through on it anyway.
You in the algorithm heavy, man, with the interview with J. Cole. Did that go with and I told you to be patient, by the way. I told you eventually it happened. I know you don't listen to me all the time, but I told you. I did tell you. You in the algorithm a lot is you in another interview.
The last time you said fuck the nigga. Yeah, you said
I did?
Yeah, you said be patient, be patient. I said, all right, this is the last text. You said, man, fuck that nigga then. That's what you said.
Okay. Well,
you said be patient the first few times.
Yeah, more than a couple of times. But how did that
But shout out to J. Cole.
Yeah, shout out to J. Cole, man. How did that?
He said the same thing though. He said when he seen the lawsuit, he was like, man, fuck that nigga.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all gonna see it. Did that interview go the way you expected it to?
Yeah, it went really well, man. It turned out really well. It seemed like he had a lot to say, to get off his chest. He kind of got it, the interview itself. Like, you know, he knew I'm not saying he knew the questions, but he knew what people want to hear. And I asked him what people want to hear. So thank you for helping me out with get prepared for it as well. But it went really well. Like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It went really well. Taylor made her TV debut. So she has some good questions as well. But it went really well, and I'm happy that we kept everything out of court. And no, I really wasn't planning on doing no lawsuit anyway, even though I did it. Because some people said after they seen the intro, they like the whole lawsuit was fake and everything else. I'm like, the lawsuit's public record. You could go Google the lawsuit, it's public record.
You could FOIA it.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I'm happy it went the way it went and we got it resolved. But it's really dope. If you haven't checked it out, go to Revolt. If you got the app, check it out, or go to Revolt's YouTube and check it out.
So the lawsuit is over with? It's a wrap?
Yeah,
You better not still have that lawsuit in the cut.
No, because people gonna be like, nah, he
You
probably
thought
still
it
got
was
it
safe.
lingering.
Some
Like,
people say that, but you know what's funny? J. Cole he said that too. He said, I like when we first talked about him coming to do the interview. He said, listen, man, if you want to keep the lawsuit thing going on, cool, that ain't no problem. I just want to keep my word and do what I said I was going to do. And I'm like, I ain't say this, but I'm like, nigga, you know damn well if you do the interview, I'm not going to file a lawsuit. I never really wanted to file a lawsuit. It was just more about us trying to get everything done. Suge asked me that same shit. He said, you want to keep the lawsuit? I know you get greasy sometimes.
What's up, word? Your boy Challz Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Keep sending those cash outs to CLBMG. Join that membership, and all you buying that merch down below, gang. Listen, so we did all that arguing back and forth a few months ago about this Camron. Should he have? Should he not have? When Camron opened up this lawsuit against J. Cole for not giving him his verse and or interview. And since then, we've seen him come out and give a full account of why he was suing him. And he wasn't too, he was kind of agitated when he gave that account. Then we went on to see that J. Cole popped up on a surprise visit to Camron's studio, allegedly, right? We now know it wasn't no surprise. It was a planned and coordinated setup interview. He even said in this episode that they had talked on the phone how they were going to do it before it even happened. So he also said that J. Cole said, if you still want to do the lawsuit, that's on you. I don't mind it. We can whatever. But I'm just going to come let you. I'm just letting you know that I was going to come do the interview, so I'm ready to do it. So end of the day, they had a whole thing, and we were arguing back and forth. I had a couple people, or quite a few people, going against the grain against me when I said that Camron shouldn't have sued him in the first place. He should have been patient and waited for his verse. Even if it took 2 years, 10 years, 17 years, you don't sue for a verse, right? So a lot of you guys disagreed, and you said Challz is business. He got every right to sue, and I stood fast on that. I said, I'm not saying he don't have a right to sue. He has 100% right to sue, but he shouldn't sue because this is hip hop. And when we exchange verses for a verse, you may send your verse in 2 minutes, right? I may take 2 years. It is what it is. You don't sue me because I know 2 years is long and you got every right to call me this, that, and the third, whatever, but don't call your lawyer because it's hip hop. And like I said, a lot of us argued back and forth in the comments on Twitter. We argued on YouTube. We even argued on Facebook, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, Camron now has dropped that lawsuit because he got his interview. Now, he even goes so far as to say he wasn't going to follow through with it anyway. What was the purpose of doing it? I don't know, but we're going to find out together. It seemed to me he says he wanted attention, but he really wanted that interview, okay? It wasn't about, no, I just wanted to get your attention. No, he wanted that interview, and it worked out for him because a lot of people watched it. We had a lot of conversation about it, and let's just be honest, they both came out, depending on how you look at it, they both came out on the funny bunny end of the stick. Some people loved the interview. Some people hated it. Some people thought it was wonky, and J. Cole made a really big mistake by even doing it, right? He set it off with Nadeska's interview, which we had more than enough. We had a week worth of stuff to pick through for Nadeska's interview, but they didn't give her 2 days. They stepped on her interview within hours because she dropped her interview, and within hours of her dropping it, we was setting up I remember setting up my video to post it about what I saw in her video of how crazy that interview was, the Nadeska video. And Camron dropped his snippet of him and J. Cole encountering each other in the studio, and J. Cole saying, "Lawyers, man, my nigga, lawyers," right? And Camron is like, "Man, it wasn't even like that." So we already got we got bombarded within the same day, I want to say, with two different the clips. We just started arguing about the clips of Camron before we finished getting with Nadeska's interview. So everybody took that. They threw Nadeska shit up because we started loading up for the Camron shit because it was way more egregious stuff in that from the two clips they sent for that. Then we got the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmelo Anthony. That they start putting up clips, and then they start putting up clips from Lost in Vegas. So it just became a run, a horrible run of just miscues and mistakes and bad takes and awful just droning on interviews where we got to see a different side of J. Cole that many of us found a little, I'm not gonna say repulsive, but we found a little contradictory to what we thought he was about as an MC. Okay, so end of the day, Camron did his interview, and I kind of had fun with it. I kind of made like some statements about Camron kind of being like, right. He said right about 700,000 times, right? And right. I kind of called him Sling Blade. I had a little fun with that, but end of the day, these are two well-respected MCs in the craft, so they did their thing. And what I want to say, first things first, I knew that Camron was going to drop this. I said it in my other video when I was discussing their interview. I said, I don't know what Camron going to do, but most likely he's going to drop this because it don't make no sense to try to continue with it at all. But I also said he could continue with it because at this point, he wasn't suing for the verse. He wasn't suing for J. Cole to give him a verse no more, and he wasn't suing for J. Cole to interview him no more. What he was suing for at that point, once he put the lawsuit on paper, he was suing for credits on the song and back pay. So it wasn't something that you can resolve in a podcast interview. So he really could have kept going. So I said, I don't know what he's going to do. We will see. Most likely he will drop it. But at this point, he's not suing for the podcast interview no more. It sounded like in his voice, he was fit to be tied and was all set. Now, I think when J. Cole was ready, he hit up Cam. And this is the funny thing, man. You got to be honest. When Cam said, J. Cole said, you're going to be the first person I call. Well, I don't know because Nadeska was the first interview out the gate, okay? So I don't know if he called Camron first, but Nadeska puts hers out first. I don't know if he knew. He could have honestly been like, Nadeska, Cam has to drop first, right? Nadeska was first. So I'm going to go ahead and say he called Nadeska first. Did that interview with her and then went and did Camron. And Camron had some, or it doesn't matter which one he did first, he let Nadeska drop first. So right there, you told Cam, you're the first one I called. You're the first interview. Remember that? But that didn't happen. But Cam was so giddy gumdrops, he didn't care. All he wanted to hear was, right, yep, you right. He sat there and told Camron in the interview, he said, Camron, your lawsuit has misinformation in it. Cameron's like, you right. So it's basically your account of it, he refutes your account of it, and you didn't bark back. But Camron was so eager and happy to get that interview, J. Cole could have said anything, and he was going to be like, yep, right? So that's what we saw, no pushback. We haven't been seeing really much pushback on any of these interviews, but J. Cole's really good at it. He'll ramble on, and he'll answer your questions before you can even ask him, or he'll get more in-depth in his answers, whereas you don't have much room to wiggle in. Those Lost in Vegas guys, for all that we clown them for, they were really one of the most consistent ones at getting in there and trying to steer the narrative a certain kind of way. Because before that, Cole was steering the narrative and taking it wherever. Now they got some of the worst answers out of him too. Some of the stuff he said in that interview talking about don't listen with your mind, listen with your heart. Some of the stuff they kind of he got steered into some awful retorts, some stuff that's going to stick for a while. So end of the day, they may have been the best at getting him to pivot and answer some things because Camron and the desk kind of just stared at him with the puppy dog eyes. But at the end of the day, they steered him into some weird situations and stuff he said. A whole lot of that Las Vegas interview had way more nonsense. I did a 3-hour live. And I still didn't get at everything this fool said on that interview. So technically, they had a more fulfilling and successful interview than Camron, because Camron, first of all, he was early to the train, so he didn't know really what to expect, and he didn't, you know what I'm saying, he didn't know that J. Cole was going to manipulate that interview the way he did and keep it on the topics that he wanted to. But they actually, believe it or not, kind of kept J. Cole from going wherever he wanted to go, and they kind of put it where they wanted it. But I mean, it is what it is. They all going to let him ramble on to a degree. So end of the day, what we actually saw was Camron get what he wanted, and therefore he don't need the lawsuit no more. Now, let's just be honest. He still ain't get the writer's credits on the thing, as far as I know. Maybe he don't even care no more, but J. Cole would actually have to put the writer's credits out, go back into the distribution to the distributor and tell him to add Camron Gals to whatever song they talking about. But the funny part about it was he was disputing that. He went and got Drake's lawyers. There's articles, I did a video on it. He went and got Drake's lawyers to say that Camron don't deserve that. And Camron was happy to be on the record. Gang, it's a whole lot of stuff that was going on before he decided to do that interview. And I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't even be surprised that when he decided he was going to do the interview with Cam, because this lawsuit situation, that he was just going to do it with everybody. You got to think, that album been out. And now you do the interview run a month or something later. Like, that album been out. You do the interviews before the album. You don't do it after. But at the end of the day, he went on the interview run. That might have been because he said, you know what? I wasn't going to do no interviews. But now since I'm doing Cam, I'm going to do everybody. Right? He's going to end up, he's going to end up with No Life Shaq real soon. And whoever else want to see him. But at the end of the day, I feel like what Camron did was he got his way. He didn't get everything he asked for. Let's just be honest. He got some. Because the podcast interview was, okay, if I don't get the verse, then give me the podcast. Then he didn't get the podcast, so he sued him for the credit for the verses he did on Ready 24. All right, let me read this article so we can wrap this thing up with a bow. But I know a lot of you came for my neck, and you were pretty adamant that Camron did the right thing, only for Camron to drop the lawsuit happily, like it didn't exist, like it didn't matter to him. So let's read this article. Camron admits he never planned to follow through on J. Cole lawsuit, by Caroline Fisher on HotNewHipHop.com. During a recent episode of his podcast, Camron confirmed that his lawsuit against J. Cole has officially been dropped. Last year, Camron filed a lawsuit against Cole over their collab Ready 24. In the lawsuit, the Dipset rapper alleged that the song was recorded in 2022 and that the Dreamville rapper promised to repay him with either a verse or an appearance on one of his podcasts. Camron made that podcast part up because he just wanted this verse back. But then when he didn't get the verses, well, just come on the podcast then. That was a caveat that was thrown in when he didn't reciprocate the verse. Let me continue. Cam accused Cole of not following through, but last week they were finally able to make things right. Cole sat down with his former collaborator for an episode of Talk with Flea, where they talked things out once and for all. In the follow-up episode, which was released yesterday, Cam reflected on the ordeal. He also confirmed that the lawsuit has since been dropped. Quote, "I'm happy that we kept everything out of court. I really wasn't planning on doing no lawsuit anyway, even if I did it. At the end of the day, I'm happy it went the way it went and that we got it resolved." He said that the lawsuit was a real lawsuit. I know he said that people started saying that the lawsuit was a scam, that they really didn't do it, it wasn't real. He said, no, the lawsuit is public record, so he really did file it. Unlike Dame Dash, who threatened a $300 million lawsuit against Cam, I think it was, some crazy shit like that. Dame never filed that. That was just a threat for the internet to get their tongues wagging. So it wasn't that. This one was really in the courts. Let me continue. During his interview, Cole revealed that he thought of the unexpected lawsuit, admitting that it left him surprised and hurt. right? He also said, fuck this nigga, but let's just keep it pushing. I was hurt, almost disappointed, because I got so much respect for you, and I look at you like I know you're a stand-up person. When the lawsuit came out, I'm like, come on, Cam. And only because in my mind, I'm like, bro, you really could have hit me. I would prefer an argument than the other way, because I was like, damn, Cam, it never got to that point where you couldn't holler at me or whatever, right? So my first thing was disappointment, and my first thought was like, fuck it. This nigga ain't even know I was still going to come to the show. Of course, but let me just say this. Cam has said, you stopped responding to his calls and texts. He couldn't get in touch with you no more. And then he said, and then when Cole went on there, Cole said, no, what happened was I thought we left it on an amicable thing. The next thing I know, I get a random text on accident about some paperwork. Did you get the paperwork? But you really didn't send it for me. He said it was about the lawsuit, but he claimed he accidentally sent Cole a text about the lawsuit, but he said he didn't mean to send that particular text to him. He was getting the lawsuit together, and I guess somehow he sent it to Cole on accident. So Cole said he didn't find out about nothing until that accidental text came, and that's the last time he heard from Cam. He hadn't heard from Cam in months because he thought Cam had dropped it, which he was hoping he did. But Cam didn't drop it. Cam was setting up a lawsuit. But let me finish. Of course, it was never going to go nowhere, Camron added. But for me, it was more like, I need to get this nigga's attention. So you got the attention, you got the lawsuit, but you didn't get the credit on the song. I don't know if that really mattered, if that was ever an issue. And that's what I kept trying to tell you guys that were screaming on me, this, that, and the third. It's business, it's business. What I said it then, and I'm saying it now. The verse shit wasn't never serious. I need you guys to understand, the verse thing wasn't never serious. You guys were up in arms. This is a verse. He didn't get paid for his work. I get all that. But the verse was never the problem. He wanted the reciprocation from, it wasn't about the verse that he made, the verse that he wrote or gave. He wanted Cole to keep his word, right? And in my opinion, in hip-hop, you can't litigate somebody being a stand-up individual. You can try and you can do this, that, and the third, but on some hip-hop stuff, when you say, I'm going to give you a verse and you give me a verse, that's some shit that a dude have to do. That's some from the heart shit, right? There's no dollar amount on that, because whatever money I get from you, I'm going to begrudgingly take that, and I'm never going to be your friend. We're going to have issues for the rest of the time. We're going to never be good again. This way, when you keep it like that, so when I see him at a party, it's not a, yo, bro, I gave you a verse, what happened? Then you could confront him there, this, that, and the third, or whatever. And sooner or later, you get a verse, you can make the hottest record ever, or whatever, or we come on the podcast. But to me, when we doing like a swap like that, it's free. I gave you a free verse. If you don't give me mine back, sooner or later, we're gonna see each other at some point, and we're gonna have a conversation. But there's no litigation in the courtroom for a free verse. The verses are free, gang. The Ready 24 verses is free. The verse is free. That's why he's dropping a lawsuit. It was always free. I said that. I said he didn't stipulate or specify a dollar amount, so the shit was free. He just wanted reciprocation, which he didn't receive. All right, end of the day, man, Camron's happy, Cole is happy. They both went on their merry way. He gonna eat off this for years. They're gonna cut up the clips and go for years on this, and this is gonna be something under his belt that he can say, I did this. I was one of the first people to really get that interview in 2026. And he broke a lot of news. A lot of news came out about K. Dot, this, that, and the third when he sat down with Cam. So listen, it is what it is, Cam. Salute to Cam. And hopefully this went the way you went. He seemed all smile, so that's all that matters, gang. It is what it is. Listen, I'm out of here, man. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the What Show, 9:15 or 9:30 around that time. Tap in. We've been doing our thing lately. Had a great show this Wednesday. All right. And the What Project, we got a song called Peanut Butter Tim's new video. We just dropped BTJ and Fliz. It's a pretty good record if you asking me, and people seem to love the video. Go down there, lock in and tap in and see what that video is about. And we just dropped a mic drop video for This That, which is another one of our songs we already got a video for. So listen, man, it's good work this year on some hip hop shit, man. Listen, I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within, with the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin, with the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin, and then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe and put some food in his face, and he'll kill for you, but I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.